Today, the Drug Enforcement Administration announced a massive drug bust connected to a major Mexican cartel.
What if I told you a substance 100 times more lethal than fentanyl was being stockpiled in America?
A deadly warning tonight from the DEA in Seattle after more than 50,000 pills containing carfentanil were recently seized.
A substance so potent that a single grain, smaller than a grain of salt, could end a person's life. Now, what if I told you it wasn't found in a top-secret military lab or a distant war zone, but in a quiet American college town, surrounded by students?
Carfentanil is 100 times more deadly than fentanyl. Just a microscopic amount can kill.
Coffee shops and libraries. Federal agents just exposed a violent cartel supercell operating right in the heart of Seattle's University District, and what they found was an operation armed for a full-scale war.
This could have killed every person in every community in the Puget Sound region.
They weren't just dealing drugs. They were building an arsenal and stockpiling enough poison to bring an entire city to its knees, right under everyone's noses. On Halloween morning, as the city of Seattle prepared for a day of harmless fun, a specialized team of federal agents was preparing for battle. They descended on the University District, a neighborhood typically buzzing with the energy of students and academics. But on this day, they weren't looking for students. They were hunting for soldiers in a hidden war. In a series of carefully coordinated raids, Homeland Security investigations dismantled a violent drug trafficking organization that had embedded itself deep within the community. 11 members were taken into custody, their criminal enterprise shattered in a matter of hours. But the reason this is happening is because this wasn't some low-level street crew. This was a sophisticated, heavily armed extension of a major cartel, operating with terrifying efficiency just steps away from a major American university. The discovery sent a shockwave through law enforcement, revealing just how brazen these organizations have become. Let's talk about the weapons, because this is where the story turns from a standard drug bust into something far more sinister. As agents cleared the properties, they uncovered an arsenal fit for a small army. They seized over 50 firearms, and these weren't just common handguns. We're talking about fully automatic rifles, weapons capable of unleashing devastating firepower in seconds. But it gets worse. Multiple handguns had been illegally modified with Glock switches, tiny devices that convert a semi-automatic pistol into a fully automatic machine pistol, able to empty a 30-round magazine in under 2 seconds. Along with thousands of rounds of ammunition, the message was clear. These criminals weren't just preparing to defend themselves, they were equipped to wage urban warfare, ready to engage in deadly shootouts with law enforcement or rival gangs, with zero regard for the innocent lives that would be caught in the crossfire. But an arsenal is useless without a mission, and this group's mission was to poison American streets on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. Agents seized over 19 kilograms of pure fentanyl. To put that into perspective, a single kilogram of fentanyl contains up to 500,000 lethal doses. That means this one cell was sitting on a stockpile of nearly 10 million lethal doses, enough to kill every single person in the entire state of Washington, with millions of doses to spare. But listen to this, the threat was even more extreme. News reports confirmed that among the seized substances was carfentanil, an opioid developed as a large animal tranquilizer that is 100 times more potent than fentanyl itself. The presence of carfentanil changes the game entirely. It's not just a drug, it's a chemical weapon. A microscopic, invisible dusting of this substance on a surface can be fatal. The cell wasn't just distributing poison, they were handling a substance that poses a lethal threat to anyone who comes near it, including the agents themselves. So the question becomes, why here? Why would a major cartel cell, with links to organizations like the Sinaloa or CJNG cartels, set up shop right next to a university campus? The answer reveals the cold, calculated logic of their modern playbook. The University District provides the perfect cover. The constant flow of young people, the transient nature of student housing, and the general anonymity of a bustling urban neighborhood allow their operations to blend into the background. They hide in plain sight. But that's not all. This organization demonstrated a sophisticated, compartmentalized structure, a business model exported directly from Mexico. Different members were responsible for different tasks: transportation, storage, distribution, and money laundering. This hierarchy makes the organization resilient. If one member is arrested, the others can continue operating, making these cells incredibly difficult to dismantle completely. Every criminal enterprise is driven by one thing: money. And the cash seized in this raid tells its own dark story. Federal agents confiscated over $130,000 in cash, money stained by the devastation it was causing. But here's the chilling reality: that's just a fraction of their income. It's pocket change for an operation moving this much product. The real money had likely already been laundered and sent back to cartel leadership, where it's used to buy more weapons, corrupt more officials, and fund the endless cycle of violence. This is the blood money that fuels their war, not just in Mexico, but increasingly within the United States. Every dollar generated from the sale of these drugs goes directly towards strengthening the very organizations that are treating American neighborhoods like their personal battlegrounds. While the numbers, 50 guns, 19 kilos of fentanyl, $130,000, are staggering, it's easy to get lost in the statistics and forget what's really at stake. The true cost is measured in human lives. The state of Washington has been ravaged by the synthetic opioid epidemic, with overdose deaths skyrocketing. Behind each statistic is a family shattered, a parent burying a child, or children growing up without their parents. It gets crazier when you consider the psychological scars left on the university district community. Imagine being a student or a parent and learning that a heavily armed cartel cell, stockpiling military-grade weapons and deadly poisons, was operating just down the street. It shatters the sense of security that every community deserves, replacing it with fear and paranoia. This raid wasn't just about removing a threat, it was about exposing the terrifying reality that this war is no longer a distant problem. It's here. Taking down this cell was a major victory for law enforcement. The 12 federal indictments mean these dangerous individuals are facing mandatory minimum sentences and will be off the streets for years, if not decades. But this is where the story gets complicated. Dismantling one cell is like cutting off the head of a hydra. The larger network remains, ready to grow a new one in its place. The cartels have proven to be remarkably adaptable. They use legal ports of entry, drones, tunnels, and even the U.S. mail to move their products. They actively recruit American citizens to handle domestic distribution, making them even harder to track. The success of this raid is a testament to the dedication of federal agents, but it also serves as a terrifying warning. This is just one battle in a much larger, ongoing war. What was uncovered in Seattle is a microcosm of a crisis unfolding across America. A hidden arsenal, a chemical weapon stockpile, and a military-style operation running right under our noses. This takedown proves that with dedicated resources, these networks can be broken. But it also begs a terrifying question. If this was happening in a peaceful college town, where else is it happening right now? The fight against the cartels is no longer a problem for the border. The battle has moved into our cities, into our suburbs, and into our neighborhoods. The enemy is already inside the gates, and this raid proves that they are armed, they are organized, and they will stop at nothing to protect their toxic empire.